and welcome to the last week of our yoga challenge. I'm so happy that you've all decided to stick with it and practice with me for this whole week, for this whole couple of weeks too, just getting ready for everything. It's awesome that you've taken 25 minutes out of your day to make sure that you are taken care of. So let's go ahead and start in mountain pose at the top of our mat. Actually, no, just kidding. We're gonna start in seated at the top of our mat. Come into seated position, crossing your legs, placing your hands on your knees, and bring your eyes to close. You can rock back and forth just a little bit to make sure that you've got your good balance, stacking your shoulders over your hips. Just let everything go. This week's gonna be probably crazy busy. There's gonna be a lot of people on the roadways. There's gonna be a lot of people shopping, a lot of people traveling. Just don't think about that now. Let all of it go. Let all the to-do lists go. And come into some stillness on your mat. Making sure you're sitting up straight. On an inhale, bring your shoulders up towards your ears. And on an exhale, smooth your shoulder blades out, down your back. Hoping you sit up just a little bit straighter. Take a deep inhale in. Exhale through your mouth. Think about that 1, 2, 3, 4 counting. So take a deep inhale in. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale one more time. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. On an inhale, you're going to sweep your hands overhead. And on an exhale, we're going to swan dive our hands forward and we're going to bend forward, coming into a seated forward bend. Inhale your hands overhead, coming back up. This time just exhale your hands down beside you. Inhale your hands overhead. Lifting your gaze towards the ceiling. Exhale your hands down, lifting your gaze towards, or bringing your gaze towards the front. Inhale your hands overhead. And on an exhale, we're going to let our right hand float down beside us, and we're going to arch over the right side of our bodies, shining our left palm towards the floor on the right side of our bodies. Smooth your shoulder blade down your back, and think about twisting a little bit from your waist, shining your chest towards the ceiling. Don't let your elbow come forward. You want it in your peripheral, in line with your head. On an inhale, float your left hand down to the ground. Inhale your hands overhead. And on an exhale, we're going to float our left hand down beside us, reaching our right hand over to the left side of our body. Bending from our waist, shining our palm towards the floor. We're going to have that same openness here in our chest and our shoulders, really smoothing our right shoulder blade down our back, and shining our chest towards the ceiling. On an inhale, come back up and bring your hand down to the floor. Bring your hands through heart center. On an inhale, sweep your hands overhead. And on an exhale, we're going to bring our left hand to our right knee, twisting to the right side, bringing our right hand, our right arm behind us a few inches, more like a foot. You can keep your gaze to the side of your mat, or you can look behind you, looking out over your shoulder. Make sure to keep a long spine here. Every inhale, think about growing a little bit taller, and every exhale, think about twisting a little bit deeper. On an inhale, we're going to bring our hands back overhead. And on our next exhale, we're going to twist to our left. Think about growing your spine a little bit longer with every inhale and exhaling with a little bit deeper of a twist. Inhale your hands overhead. Bring your hands down through heart center. Come to standing at the top of your mat. We're going to flow through a few sun salutation A's. The first one we'll do a little slowly, so inhale your hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Heel toe your feet out, hip width or mat width distance apart. Let your head hang heavy here. You can grab opposite elbows if you'd like and swing back and forth and do some head circles. Just kind of let your torso hang heavy and just kind of give into gravity here. Heel toe your feet back to hip width distance apart. Come into halfway lift. Exhale for forward fold. Plant your hands, coming into high plank. You can move back and forth here, getting a stretch in your calves, firing up your core. Go ahead and push into down dog. This is the first down dog of the day, so walk it out. Finding any movement that you need here. Listening to where our body is taking us. On an inhale, I want you to roll your spine up into high plank. So you're going to start down at your feet and you're just going to slowly come forward into high plank. On an exhale, bend your knees and come back into down dog. Inhale, roll your spine forward. Exhale, bending your knees, coming back into down dog. Do a few more of these at your own pace. Making sure to move slow and breathe through the poses, through the movement. Coming into down dog and finding some stillness here. Take a few deep breaths. Come into high plank. Lower down through your chaturanga. Up dog. And down dog. Take 2 more deep breaths here. On your next inhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Moving into halfway lift. Exhale for forward fold. Inhale your arms overhead. Find a slight back bend at the top. Bring your hands through heart center. I'm going to flow through this one last sun salutation A on our own pace, meeting a down dog. Once we're in down dog, we're going to float our left foot towards the ceiling, bending our heel, opening up our hip, making sure our shoulders are square to the ground. Making sure your toes of your lifted foot are flexed back towards your knee, and making sure your heel's as close to your sit bones as possible, protecting your knee. Come back into three-legged down dog, bringing your right leg down to the mat. We're going to inhale our left foot up towards the sky, bending at the knee, flexing our toes back, keeping our shoulders square to the mat, getting a nice stretch in our hip. On your next inhale, come into three-legged down dog and float your knee back down to the ground. Step or hop to the top of your mat, right? Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale our hands overhead. Come to about the middle of your mat. We're going to set up for tree pose. So if you need to do your kickstand here, that's fine, or bring your foot to your inner thigh. Just do not put it on your knee. Bring your hands to heart center. Set your tree up here. Find your balance. If your tree is a little windy today, no worries, just find it. If you need to stay here, that's okay. Once you find your balance, you can grow your tree, bringing your hands overhead. And if you find the wind here, let it blow. Fall out, come back in. Making sure that your shoulders are on your back. Shoulder blades are down your back. Keeping that chest open. We'll be here for a few breaths. Bring your hands back down through heart center. Release your tree, but bring your right leg parallel to the mat. We're coming into hand to big toe pose. Put your hand on your left hand on your hip. Take your two-piece fingers and grab your big toes and extend your leg out in front of you. Keeping a slight bend in your left knee. You can stay there. You want to actively work on straightening your back and bringing your extended leg up with you. It might look like this for a little while, and that's okay. Just work on extending your leg out and straightening your back. And it's probably going to look like this for a lot of people. If this is a little too inaccessible, then just grab your knee and work on keeping your back straight. If you are in the extended version of this pose, you are more than welcome to bring your leg out to your side, keeping your hand on your hip, or bringing it out to the side if you'd like. Release our right leg. We're going to come into tree on the left side. So we're really on the right side. So put your weight in your right foot. Bring your left foot to kickstand or on your inner thigh. Set your tree pose up here. Find your balance, grow your tree. If you feel that wind, let it blow. Come right back in to the pose. Bring your hands to heart center. Release your leg, bringing your thigh parallel to the mat. Bring your right hand to your hip. Take your two-piece fingers and hook your big toe, extending it out in front of you as far as possible. You want to think of keeping your back straight. And if you have it in your practice, you can bring your left leg out to the side. Brace your core. If you're finding a lot of wind in this pose, brace your core to help stabilize you, and you can also bring a bend into your right knee, which will help the base of this pose be a little bit steadier. Release your toes and bring your leg back to parallel and release your foot. Wiggle it out. This is a lot on our legs. This is a lot of balancing, a lot of power for our legs. Come to the top of the mat. We're going to flow through our lesson salutation of the day. So take it as slowly as you want. Go at your own pace and we'll meet in down dog. Take a few deep breaths here. Roll in to high plank and lower yourself all the way down to the ground slowly. If you need to put your knees down, that's not a problem. Do it. We're going to come into Sphinx pose. So make sure the tops of your feet are on your mat. Bring your hands out in front of you, stacking your shoulders over your elbows and your wrists out, or your forearms out in front of you with your hands spread wide. You want to make sure that your chest is actively pushing towards the front of your mat. Getting a nice stretch in your back. It's a nice chest opener. If you have it in your practice, you can begin to slowly pressing into your hands and pressing the mat away from you, straightening out your arms. This is a pretty intense pose for your low back. So if you find any pain here or anything like that, don't push up, just stay down. You're still getting the benefit of this pose. You want to make sure you're not hunching into your shoulders as well. You want to make sure that your shoulders are pushed firmly away from your ears. Shoulder blades are probably popping up off your back just a little bit. If you are in this extended pose, come back down. We're going to take our hands and we're going to bring them to our side, bringing our forehead or our chin to the mat, whichever is easiest. We're going to come into locust pose. So we're going to think about squeezing everything into the midline of our bodies. And on an inhale, we're going to raise our chest, our legs, and our hands. Our arms, too. You want to think about just everything kind of pushing towards the midline of your body. If you have to come out of this pose a little bit too, because this is a pretty intense back straightener, that's okay. You can come out of it a little bit, take a rest, and then come back into it. You want to be actively pushing your hands down towards your feet as well and lifting your feet up. We'll be here for 2 more breaths. Take a deep inhale in. Exhale. 1 more breath. Deep inhale in. Exhale and let everything go. Kind of lay here for a second. Letting the backside of your body relax. When you're ready, push up into tabletop. Arch your spine towards the ceiling. You can move your hips back and forth just a little bit to get a little bit of a deeper stretch in the low back. Come into cow, arching your back, or bringing your tummy towards the floor. And arch your spine 1 more time. You can move into child's pose too if that feels good. Come back out into tabletop and then come into seated. Placing your legs out in front of you. You can take the fleshy part of your bum and grab it and set your sit bones back down on the ground. Inhale your hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold for seated forward fold. Make sure that you are bending at your hips, not your waist. This will help keep your spine long in this pose. Grab your feet, shins, ankles, wherever. Come back up. Bring your hands out long in front of you and slowly lower down to the ground. Coming into supine twist on the right. Hook your right leg into your chest and then fold it over the left side of your body, keeping your shoulders flat on the mat and extending your arm out to the side, your right arm out to the side with your gaze off to the side or up towards the ceiling. I'll be here for 2 breaths. Hug your right leg back in. Shoot it out long. Bring your left leg in. Drape it over the side of your body. Keeping your shoulders square on the mat. Bring your left leg or your left arm out to your side and keep your gaze to the left or up towards the ceiling. We'll be here for about 2 breaths. Hug your left knee in. Shoot it out long. Bring your hands down to your sides, palm facing up, and come into corpse pose, letting everything go. Let rhythmic breathing go, just let it be natural. Let your body go and just rest. Begin to wiggle your toes in your hands. Bring some awareness back into your body. Roll over on your right side, bringing your knees towards your chest. Push up into seated. Bring your hands to heart center and close your eyes. Bow your head. Thank yourself for showing up on your mat every day for these past few weeks and giving yourself the self-love that we all need during the holidays. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.